Here's a piece from a client who asks, "Can you make this beautiful again?" I can sure try. It's missing some veneer, which is going to easily peel off. The feet are missing the rounded parts. They have fallen off. One side has the rounded part in the front, but not on the sides. In the back, that little piece is connected and it can come off easily. It's also missing some veneer. The back, the veneer is peeling badly. But again, that looks like it'll come off pretty easily. Inside, it's in pretty good shape as well. Just needs a little cleaning up. So I'm about to get started. This piece is actually going to be used in a bedroom, and this is the room. This mirror is from my inventory. Obviously, the color doesn't match, but the lines do. So we're going to make that coordinate. This is a bedside table that she has, and she's asked me to source another one. And then also, this little bird is the inspiration for the whole color scheme. We're going to use a color called Muscadine Wine and one called Savannah Mist. And a transfer, those are Dixie Belle colors, and a transfer from Iron Orchid Designs called Saint Germain. Those little buttons that were on the front are just attached to that veneer and come off real easily. As I mentioned, the front and the sides, the curved parts are missing from these feet. There's a little seam, if you can see there, and if I'm right, I can put that knife in there and that little piece should pop right off, making that flat as well. And then we'll use some moldings to kind of marry it together again and give it a little more of a rounded appearance. There it goes, it popped off. So we can recreate those little moldings somewhat, and I really underestimated how easy this job would be because I thought this would all come off a lot easier. Most of it is coming off pretty good, but the part that didn't, that glue was pretty good. So I got off what I could, and then I used the heat gun to soften up the adhesive underneath the remaining pieces and just worked with it with the knife and got it off eventually. I removed that little piece that is sort of like a backsplash decorative element. And boy, whoever invented Phillips head screws, I should do the research, but I'm sure his name was Philip. But anyway, I'm kudos to him or her. Philip, I guess it's a guy. But anyway, flathead screws just aren't my jam, but you can always kind of tell how old a piece is when you know that everything is kind of put together with rusty flathead screws. So I'm going to take these doors off as well, just because of the fact that this piece, you can tell it just needs totally refreshed. So the hinges and everything just seems kind of just a little dusty and crusty and verging on rusty. So we're going to take care of all of that. And it helps to have the right size screwdriver. Trying to work with one that was too big was painful until I got it sized properly. Also removing them from the doors. I could have painted this whole piece and had it done with, but it's just details sometimes. So I also want to remove those beautiful knobs, and we're going to reuse those. They're like a hanging knob, and you can see they definitely need a refresh, but they're going to be beautiful. So when I take the door off, then I see that this veneer in the front is also going to peel off. So rather than peel that, because the other side is in good shape, we're just going to use some Elmer's wood glue and put it in there and clamp it up and get that all taken care of. So these little buttons that came off the front, we're going to try and reproduce. At least that was the plan. Sometimes things happen a different way. So that little button that I saw down at the bottom, I forgot my molds out at the shop. So I did have some air dry clay, and I had this little bed bolt cover left over from a bed frame. So I just squeezed the clay into that because it was the same kind of circular design, and just used that instead. I ended up putting these embellishments not on the bottom square, but on the next one up. I think it made it look more intentional that the bottom was supposed to be square, not that it was missing rounded parts. So I hope that makes some sense, but I think it makes for better design. Using the wood glue, I glued them and the recovered buttons from that area back on the piece. Finally, I'm able to sand the top. I start with an 80 grit to remove any of that paint that was on there, and then I proceed to a 120 grit, and then finally to a 220 grit. I was able to remove all of the stain from the top of the piece, and I was pretty happy about that. I decided not to remove it from the beveled edge. I'm just going to paint that area. I've never done that before. I don't know why, but I'm trying it this time. While the sander's out, I also smooth that rough area where the veneer was removed. Also on the back of the piece, I do the same. I'm going to remove that dust residue with just some water. I had previously cleaned it with a vinegar water solution. That helped to also get rid of some of those spots in the front that looked like perhaps they might have mold starting. That's always a good way to kill mold. But I wanted to see what the top would look like stained. And spraying it with water kind of gives you a good indication. I'm going to put some wheels under this baby so it's easier to paint and move around. First, I use a stain called Whiskey Barrel from Dixie Belle for the top. It's one of the Voodoo Gel Stains, and this is a newer color. I just love these bottles because I can just squirt them out and then spread them around. It's just easy to layer with them and, paint over them, remove them if you don't like it. I just love the water-based stains. So much better. I mean, obviously, sometimes an oil-based stain is the only thing that's going to do, but in this case, I think this is just perfect. It's going to dry very quickly also. I used this same stain on the dining room refresh that I did, and it worked just great. Looking good, and after it's dry, I use some painter's tape to make sure that I'm not going to get any paint on the stained top. The last jar I had of this color called Muscadine wine was only a 4-ounce. I also left my brushes at home, so I went and grabbed this from Tractor Supply Company. Not a great brush, but it'll do. And so do you think I'm going to make it with this container of paint? Do you think I can get this whole thing painted? Well, stick around and find out. For even more suspense, you can pop over to the Tuesday Talk channel at 7 p.m. tonight to see what I was doing, some of my process. But I will give you a spoiler alert. These are the doors, but guess what? I did that to the wrong side. So make sure you come back for the rest of the process and see how we turn these into, hopefully, a beauty. Was it a happy accident? Come back and find out, but not next week. That's the lifestyle of a show flipper challenge, and that's brought to you by Crystal from Crafty Creech DIYs and Furniture Flips, and also Jen from Copper Cactus DIY. That's going to be a fun one. So visit and subscribe to Tuesday Talk to check out that part of the process, and thank you so much for watching today. If you like this content, please hit like and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Find Statement Designs on the web at www.statementdesigns.org and on social media as Statement Designs. Stay well.